So we get to the point. What would you actually like to? This is for all of you guys. What do you actually want to say to these girls? All right. So I'll give you a kind of a metaphor for this, if this makes sense, right? So public speaking, right? Almost like guys' worst fears. Talking to a woman, approaching a woman's up there. Public speaking's up there. All right. People are very scared of that. Right? I obviously public speak as well. Like I speak in front of crowds and stuff, right? The first time I ever had to public speak, it's not something like I was the kid who hated show and tell in school. I never wanted to do that shit, right? But I was offered a lot of money to give a speech, so I wasn't going to turn it down. And the first speech I ever had to do was a 3-hour speech. All right. Yeah. So I've never spoken in front of whatever, 3 hours. And I was like, they'll pay me like $1,000 to speak for 3 hours. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to take it. But like, I'm terrified. And what I was most scared of was that I would get up there, I'd talk for 45 minutes, get through everything I wanted to talk about, be like, okay, guys, that's it. And then there's like 2 hours and 15 minutes left. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Right. That's what I was scared of. So what did I do? I prepared a fucking extensive outline that I thought was like way too. I prepared like 5 hours worth of outline so that no matter what, I couldn't run out of stuff, right? And then I had notes to go back to if I ever ran out. And I went up and I did the speech, and it still ran short, but it ran to like 2 hours and 40 minutes or something like that. And then I was like, okay, Q&A for the last 20 minutes. So it was fine, okay? But the fact that I was prepared because I had an idea of what I wanted to talk about made it so I could do it. Made it, A, I was less nervous, but B, it got me through it, right?
Right.
And I prepared it in advance, right? You guys can do the same thing for game. Prepare in advance. What are the things you would like to talk about, right? What are the things you would like the girl to be? What would you like to ask her about? What would you like to qualify her on? What are your most attractive qualities? What types of topics of conversation, when you talk about them, make you look fucking cool, right? Prepare these things in advance. And then when the conversations go dead, bring up one of these things. I want to talk to the girl about whether she's like fun or boring, right? So that's I don't like boring people. Maybe you have like 30 different options of things you could do, and then you can just pick and choose any one of them, which are all good, right? But yeah, you open or succeeds, but you have nothing to say. Like, so you seem like you could be really fun or you could be really boring. I'm not sure which. Tell me this about you, right? And now you've gotten into one of those things that you're curious to know about her, right? Or maybe one thing for you is like you travel a lot, right? I travel a lot, you travel a lot. It's like people seem to think it's super valuable. It's like whatever, but like people like oh my god, I love to travel, right? So you could be like, hey, can I ask you a random question, but it's important, like from my perspective. Do you travel a bit? I just ask her that, and probably she's gonna ask you back, do you travel? You'd be like, yeah, kind of way too much. Like I like get paid to travel, right? And now you're on being a pilot, which is a high value topic for you, and also you're talking about travel, and the girl will love it, right? And you seeded that, you brought it up by asking her the question, right? But you planned that. You're like, this is a topic I'd like to get to. How do I get there? I ask this question, and we get to that topic, right? You can plan and structure how the conversation is going to go in advance, but you just have to do the work. You have to figure out what topic do you want to talk about, right? What do I want to talk about? How do I get myself there? She's responding well. She's answering questions asked, and she's giggling, but she's not qualifying herself explicitly, and she's not, like, if there's a silence, she's not filling the silence and continuing the conversation, right? So it's like okay enough, but it's not like, it can't live on its own, right? I just thought of a really weird metaphor. This is a really weird fucked up metaphor, but just think of it this way. Think of the set as like a zygote turning into a fetus, you know what I mean? Like that, like a developing baby, okay? At a certain point, the baby can survive on its own, right? And your job is to like nurture it to that point and then let it survive, okay? She's not ready to survive on her own, right? She's responding well to all the nutrients you're giving. She's developing well in the womb, right? But she's not, like, she can't be turned loose on her own because she's not carrying the conversation. She's not proactively qualifying her. She's not doing these overt things, right? So if at any point, like, if the test would be this, if you just shut up at this moment, what would happen? She'd pause for a second. She'd be like, okay, well, it's nice to meet you, and leave, right? If you're there, you're not at the closing point yet. If you were to be quiet and she'd be like, so what do you do? And continue the conversation and proactively keep it going, as in the conversation could survive on its own without you putting input to it, then you're at a different place fundamentally, okay?
Like the approach.
So since you're not at that place yet, where she's invested enough that she would continue the conversation, you probably, where she's going right now is not relevant right now. Getting it to that point is relevant. As soon as it's at that point where she'll carry the conversation a little bit, now finding out what she's doing is relevant, because finding out what she's doing is a lead into an instant date. The problem with asking it here is she just gave the perfect response for an instant date, but you can't take her on an instant date right now because the set's not ready for it.